All right, it's 5 o'clock, so I will call to order our meeting of the Finance and Personnel Committee. Will you all please stand and join me in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, then we will move on into roll call. Alder Flicky-Paneski? Here. Alder Ackley? Here. Alder Perella? Here. Alder Feldy?
Here.
All right, and chair's here as well. We have a quorum. Jumping over 1.4, barring any objections, the introductions, we will move on to 2.1, which is approval of the minutes.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Chair votes aye, the motion passes. Now we're on to item 3.1, which is resolution number 60 of 21-22, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to make payment to Sheboygan County for a portion of costs incurred pursuant to an agreement between Sheboygan County and Discover Media Works Incorporated to develop and distribute content related to the city of Sheboygan and Sheboygan County, and authorizing the finance director to make a necessary budget adjustment and appropriation in the 2021 budget.
Thank you, Chair. So this document is, as stated, an agreement between the City of Sheboygan, Sheboygan County, and the Sheboygan County Economic Development Corporation to do a Discover Wisconsin episode about Sheboygan County to be used as talent recruitment and business retention. So the point of it is to highlight the communities and all the great amenities and assets of this county and be able to use it as a marketing tool, if you will, to go out and recruit families and people to come here and fill one of the 4,000 plus open jobs in the county. So the city and the county are sharing the brunt of it, with the Economic Development Corporation putting in 25%. And really it's just to highlight the great area and to use it as, so Discover Wisconsin typically has been a tourism film. This is kind of a new idea, I would say, moving forward for using it as a promotion of talent attraction and recruitment. For our companies and in the city and everybody else, but really to highlight what's going on here and get it out to more of a national presence to try to recruit employees.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from committee members? Go ahead. Should be good.
Hi. It is on. Who's going to write the script?
So Discover Wisconsin writes the script. They have the script writers and they have the host, and they'll highlight the locations that they want to, they'll identify the locations they want to highlight within each of the communities, and they will put together the script, and then it'll be approved by the 3 entities.
Thank you.
Alder Perella?
Yes. Did we receive more than one estimate for this, or it was, how did we select this company?
So there's only really one entity that does this. So it's a syndicated program, if you will, that's pushed across all different media channels, particularly on the TV. So Discover Wisconsin has been around for 20 plus years doing episodes on tourism entities and tourism ideas. So they're really the kind of the platform, if you will, for exploring Wisconsin and all the amenities that Wisconsin has to have. So there's really not an option to go out to bid, because this is really specific to the state of Wisconsin and what Discover Wisconsin does. I mean, there could be other people that can put together videos, but they have the presence and the national spotlight on exploring Wisconsin and have the means of getting it out to the national media.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I just thought I'd add a couple of comments. The spirit of this is the fact that because the city and county continue to have problems drawing families to live here, this is kind of the venue that we feel would be a good opportunity to kind of show what our community provides us. And we enjoy it every day, and people don't realize what great amenities we have. So we have businesses throughout our city, county that continue for years and years and years to have deficiencies in finding employees. But the problem really comes down to, it's not that we need employees, it's the fact that we need families. For every employee, we need a family. Families also affect the community, whether it's your school systems, your churches, your restaurants, all of that. And that's why we're doing such a big push for our housing program also. So this is a great opportunity for the city of Sheboygan, in collaboration with myself and the mayor involved and the county involved, to really be able to have a focus that Sheboygan can be seen from a lot of people outside the city of Sheboygan, outside the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? If not, I believe we are looking for a motion to recommend approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Thank you, Chad. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Chair votes aye, the ayes have it. Next up is 3.2, which is resolution number 63 of 21-22, a resolution adopting certain changes to the city's medical benefit plan and dental benefit plan effective for the calendar year 2022 coverage, and establishing the monthly equivalent rates effective for January 2022 coverage and thereafter. Take it away.
So good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to introduce Jay Scott to the group here. He is with USI as our broker, and we'll answer any other questions if I cannot answer the questions for you. So we did have a very slight increase in our premium rates overall, just about 1.5%, especially looking at the single plan. So the premium rates increase was very minimal, so we were pleased with that. And the second piece is that the employee portion, we went from an 8.5% portion to 8.75% contribution rate. That is what the employees will be asked to contribute. We feel too that we tried to keep that cost as minimal, or the impact as minimal as possible for the employees. So you can see the rates that are there. The dental rates did not change at all from prior year. And we do intend, again, to offer that HSA contribution for those eligible employees who are on the benefit plan program. Do you have any questions?
Seeing none, thank you. Yes, I'll double check. Do we have any questions from committee members? Well, in that case, thank you. And we will be looking for a motion to recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, the ayes have it, and the motion passes. And then last up, although I do believe we have 20 minutes left in our time slot for the next one, is item 4.1, the Human Resources Department quarterly update.
Scott, are you able to pull up my screen?
Are you plugged in, Vicki?
I am plugged in. Well, I can just talk. How's that? So I have some information, and some of this you have already heard, but I wanted to just step back a little bit and review some of our timeline in the HR department. So the last time I spoke to you as a group was on June 7th, I believe was the date at the Committee of the Whole, with some of the concerns that have been happening within the HR department and what we have done to date so far. So what I would like to do right now, before I get started, is to introduce my new staff. So I have Jennifer Ray as an HR generalist who joined us in August. And we have Nicole Jeske, who just is her first day is today. So if you want to just stand up, that'll be good. Both are new HR generalists for our HR department. We are very excited. They both come with years of experience in either benefits and or in government. So we're really excited to have both of them on board. So just wanted to acknowledge that they were here today.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
So our mission for our department is that the human resources team of trusted professionals serves as a strategic and operational partners, providing an inclusive and high-quality work experience for all employees. This is something that we take to heart. This is something that we truly want to grow as we work toward improving our department. So as of the last time I spoke to you, we know that Caitlin Krieger joined the HR Finance Suite as the Director of Finance, and we added an admin human resources assistant also in June. So Jen Ray is on board as well. Denise Clark, as our HR generalist, gave her resignation in August, and then we have Nicole joining us actually as of today. So one of the things that had been mentioned at the council on Monday was to do, to follow up with the CLA benefit report. And that was the intent of this report, to just let you know where we are with a lot of the different kinds of factors that we had continued to work on. So there were 4 actions that we were tasked, that Administrator Wolf and myself were tasked with looking at the pros and cons of further action. So the distribution of chamber cash and gift cards, which was one of the items in the CLA benefit report, there was approximately $13,000 of chamber cash that had been purchased over the years. We do not have good documentation about how that had been distributed. So since we cannot prove employee misconduct with that, and per our insurance carrier with CIVMIC, that it was determined that the action would not merit further investigation on that because of the low cost and the low impact. On the spousal surcharge waivers, we did find that there could be a difference, but again, it's difficult to prove what the intent was on that. There is a $20,000 deductible with our liability insurance carrier, and again, it would be difficult to prove intent. So that was another action that we determined was not going to be worth pursuing. Regarding the fire department sick pools and the police department sick pools, this is something that we are continuing with CLA. It's been a continuation of the outcome of the benefit package to continue to look at that valuation and language clarification in the contract language. As far as our response, the HR, payroll, and finance response has continued to be that we are engaged with USI, our brokers, to mitigate any improper overrides. We do have, a whistleblower program is established, which the confidential phone number and email. That is accessible only to myself and to the city attorney. We have checks and balances implemented between HR and finance departments. And we are working on a payroll project, which is this immediate and complete separation of the payroll functions from both human resources and the finance departments. Our next projects and responsibilities are, as an HR department, are to focus on recruiting. We've had a number of retirements and resignations. We are continuing to work on the CLA, benefit audit with the sick pools and retirement agreements. That is something that they are helping us clarify the language. And then we are also engaged in the compensation and classification study with Carlson Detman. We expect that to be completed by the end of the year. And we are also working again with our benefit processes and open enrollment, which is due October of 2021. So that's where we are from the last 3 months or so that we've talked with each other. If you have any other questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Item number 3, the police and fire sick pool evaluation. There were a lot of buzzwords there. What does that mean? What are we doing with the
Okay.
sick pool?
So with the sick pools, so as the contracts allow, as employees earn their sick leave, there's a process and a formula for how those sick leave benefits are accrued over time. And so there are separate buckets for the individual to receive, as well as communal pools for the group. And those can be used for circumstances if there is an illness or some circumstance that is deemed significant enough that the fire chief or the police chief can allow the employee to use those sick bank pools. And what we don't have as a city is a concrete valuation of what is the value, the dollar value of those hours or days that are in those pools. And so CLA is reviewing the contracts, they're looking at past documentation to help the city determine what that value will be, or value is, actually.
So are we looking forward to a change in sick pool? Or we don't know that yet because we don't know the value?
So I'll use the fire department for an example. So in about 1985, their sick pool, their communal pool was frozen, and it was frozen at a certain point in that time frame. And so they aren't adding to it anymore, but it exists. And what we don't have is what is the value of that particular benefit. We know that, well, and employees do continue to accrue their own sick leave per their contract. So they get 8 hours per full month worked. And that applies to themselves.
Okay.
So we don't anticipate a change in those practices.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Alder Perella?
I was just wondering, there was no document attached to this item, correct?
No, this was just my PowerPoint, so I can share that with you if you would like.
Thank you. Yes, I would like that. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Alder Flick-Vineski?
Yes, thank you. You also said that the payroll function was being separated from both HR and finance. So how can you have a payroll function be separated from HR and finance and still have a payroll function?
So the payroll function had been under the HR department and had been under my responsibility. And I don't remember exactly when we switched that to Administrator Wolf. And then when Caitlin came on board, that payroll specialist now reports directly to Caitlin Krieger, the finance director. So it's not necessarily outside of finance, it is internally within finance, but the functions itself are being separated so that there is limited access in the software programs, so that there is a clear definition and boundary from when HR performs a function to when that is handed off to the payroll function, and then to how that is handed off for finance as a review and audit.
So someone gets hired through HR.
Yes,
There is an agreement for dollar value for service performed.
yes,
Then it goes to your person, but not your person, who then passes it off to finance?
yeah, so we are working, part of the payroll project itself is to work through those handoffs. So where it had been that one person could have completed that entire cycle, we are now putting gates in place to make sure that there is an adequate handoff, so that HR is handling that function. So we provide the offer letter, and we provide the, the salary then that's based on that position. And then that information is entered into our software program. That gets handed off to payroll through the software process. And that person then can verify through the documentation, but can't affect the change to it.
Okay,
So that's something that as a check and balance. And then once that payroll process is completed, there is an auditing process by the finance department that will be able to review all of that.
okay, thank you.
And do we have any other questions from members of the committee? Seeing none, I will say thank you for sharing with us.
Okay.
And this was for discussion only so I believe final call for questions. We can move on to,
Gracia.
sorry.
I just wanted to say that I appreciate the roadblocks that Vicky mentioned, and I assume these are the direct consequence of the previous circumstances and situation that we have experienced.
Yes, these are direct consequences from not only the CLA benefit audit that we had requested, so that Administrator Wolf and myself had looked at a lot of the different components that were affecting the HR department as well as flowing into the finance department, and that we didn't have the appropriate procedures or separations in place. And when we needed to make a change in our benefits administration and we called for the audit, we had identified specific points that were critical to be reviewed by the auditors, and this was one of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to give a shout out to Vicki and her team. They've been through a lot in the past year plus. And again, just to reiterate what Vicki had pointed out is that we, the city, basically brought this forward to the council in transparency. When we've identified that there were problems, we gave our professional recommendation on what needed to be reviewed. And that's why we brought CLA in to be a third party, so that it would also show separation. When you're auditing your own processes, it's always good to also have an outside source reviewing that. So I just want to say a compliment to everybody. We've built a really good team, and we're still in a lot of flux. We have a lot going on, and these projects are very large. These problems, or opportunities as I call them, have taken many, many years to become what they are today, and it's going to take some time to clean it up and fix the problems that we have. But we have a great team in place, and we're putting policies, procedures, auditing processes, and we are doing separation of duties to make sure that the appropriate departments and personnel have the right approval process. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Alder Flecky-Panaski.
Thank you. Will we get yet a third quarterly report from you? Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Vicki, thank you again. Seeing as we've exhausted our agenda, our next meeting is on October 11th. However, we are now looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.